Hello and welcome. I'm Flora. I'm a 2D artist learning 3D modeling and printing. In this video, I'm going to show you how I came about creating this little cat plant pot. It all started with me getting my first airbrush ever. I was so excited to test it out, I wanted to create something that I could practice airbrushing on. The criteria I had for this model was something that had a large surface area, something that had details where I could put accents, something that I thought was relatively useful, and something that I found pretty cute. I mean, just look at this guy. I jumped straight into Blender this time because I was so eager to get it done. No sketching this time, no looking at different shapes or designs. The name of the game was keeping it simple as possible, because I wanted to have no print failures. My impatience could not tolerate several reprints. I tried different designs for this tail and settled for the third one because I felt like it was flat enough that it wouldn't require any additional supports, thus saving me time and any risk of a failed print. My cat is looking a little bit more like a pig, but please believe in me, when I paint it, it's gonna look like a cat. I thought I could print 2 of them, but when I sliced it, the estimated print time was 5 hours. Absolutely not, we do not have time for that. One of them is getting laid off. I printed this on my filament printer, so it was fast and had little to no cleanup. Unfortunately, at this stage of my 3D printing journey, I didn't know what seams were. You know, the little line that forms where the printer begins each new layer. So I used the standard printer settings, and unfortunately, it chose to put the seam right on the cat's face. But you know what? It's okay because this was just a test, and with the lack of my airbrushing skills, it's gonna get ruined anyway. Now it was time to break out the airbrush. Finally! I gave the pot a few light coats of primer, and as you can see, I'm still struggling to get consistent pressure all around. In honor of my cat Pumpkin, I painted the pot orange with a white chest and, of course, white tipped paws. I added some details, including these stripes to complete the orange tuxedo look. I'm surprised by how delighted I was with the final result and couldn't help but to show it off to the original model. Do you think he approves? Since I had no expectations for this project except to use it as practice for airbrushing, I really didn't expect it to turn out so cute. Then I thought, why don't I print a couple and paint them in different colors? Now I have an entire fleet. I also learned about seam scarfing, which hides the seam a little bit better, and I positioned it in the back so that it's a little bit less obvious. But I'm not done yet. Because the original model looked so much like a pig, I thought, why not paint one in pink and try to make it look like a pig using the same model? Why not? Now I also have a pig. And the joke is on me because it started with me not even wanting to print 2 of these in order to save time, and now I have 6 cats and a pig. I wonder if years from now I'm gonna look back on this video and realize that I told my real life story of how I started with 1 cat and ended up with 6 plus 1 pig. These plant pots are of course incomplete until something is planted in them. So I looked around my apartment and found something in my recycling bin, these nifty yogurt containers, cut a drain hole on the bottom, and planted some of these string of hearts that I propagated. Of course, each pot gets its own little plant. Which one do you like more, the cats or the pig? Should I start making versions of this plant pot with different animals such as cows, dogs, sheep? Or should I start spamming my friends by gifting them customized versions of these cat plant pots in their cat's image? I had a lot of fun with this project because during the entire process, I was not focused on a specific result. This makes me wonder, can I replicate this same creative process for all of my projects where I have a clear idea and direction, but I still give it enough of a wiggle room for it to turn out differently than I had imagined? It would be great if all my projects were this much fun. It also helps me realize that simple isn't necessarily bad. Sometimes simple can be just right. I hope you enjoyed watching the process of creating these plant pots. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.